Today we're going to uppot a plumeria plant, and what we have here is a nice Newport pink. You see the nice blooms here. It has a nice perfume scent. I rooted this plant from a cutting about a year ago, and so it's in a 1 gallon container, and so it dries out in about 1 or 2 days, and so we know that there are a lot of roots down here, so it's time for it to be moved to a larger pot, which will give it more room to grow and will allow the soil to stay moist longer. So what we want to do first is get some plumeria mix. So I make my own mix using garden soil, from my garden, a third of that, plus a third of compost, and a third peat moss. And then I also add in a few cups of perlite. The perlite helps aerate the soil and allows it to drain properly. So if you prefer just to buy pre-mixed soil, you can just get cactus soil. The cactus soil will keep the plumeria well drained. Okay, so I have the soil, and then I have the pot I'm going to move the Newport pink into. This is a 3 gallon pot. It seems that going from 1 gallon to 3 gallon isn't that much, but plumeria plants, they don't like sitting in damp soil, so uppotting it gradually will it will give it more space to grow, but it will also just provide just enough room so that it doesn't sit in damp, wet soil for too long. So if I were to move this 1 gallon into, say, a 10 gallon pot, for example, that 10 gallon pot will stay wet longer, and we don't want this because damp soil or soil that's damp for too long may cause stem rot. So you might have seen this in plumeria plants, especially over the winter, where the stem will start to soften, and you'll see an indentation. So to prevent that, we want to uppot it gradually. Okay, so I have my 3 gallon pot, and then what I'll do first is before you uppot it, don't water for a few days. It's easier to remove the plant from the pot if the soil is dry. This was last watered maybe about 3 days ago. So the first thing I'm going to do is squeeze the sides of the pot. This will help separate the plant from the pot and make pulling it out more easy. This is a fairly small plant, and so I could probably pull it up from the stem. But if this were a larger plant, say this were in a 5 gallon pot, I wouldn't pull it up because that might damage the roots. Like as I'm pulling it up, it might pull out some of the roots. So what you do in that situation, which I'll show you right now, is you would kind of tip the plant to the side like this, and then slowly pull the plant out like this. See, so it comes out nice and easy. So you can see that this plumeria plant is ready to be uppotted. There are a lot of roots growing, and we don't want the roots to become impacted or to completely overtake the pot. We want to give it more room. So I have my my plant here, so I'm just going to put it back in the pot quickly and fill in my new pot with the plumeria soil. I want to fill this up halfway. What you can do to make sure that you put in the right amount of soil is that after you put it in, you compress it a little bit, and then put in the old pot and see if it's at the right level. Okay, so this looks like at the right level. So now I'm gonna take the plumeria plant out and put it in the pot, the new pot. And then I'm gonna topsoil. Then compress the soil just a little bit, so there's not much too much air between the plant and the new soil, and then add more soil. Okay. So, and I'm gonna get some water and water it. I'm gonna water it so that the soil is nice and moist.